Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 14th of November 2023. So there's a few things I want to talk about today, and the first one is this very, very scary looking headline which says solar superstorm may shut down internet for months. Scientist warns. No scientist in the singular as well. And then there's, for some reason below, there's another headline. Scientist warns about an internet apocalypse caused by the energy from a potential solar superstorm. So all very scary stuff, but what I look at is the little caption underneath the very scary sun picture, where it says a solar superstorm might wipe out the internet for weeks or even months, warns a scientist, Fox Weather reported. So the last 6 words there are what I look at. Warns a scientist, Fox Weather reported. Well, we all know how trustworthy scientists, especially ones that are given airtime by mainstream media sources, really are, don't we? I.e. not trustworthy at all, and their opinions and what they say counts for absolutely nothing. So I will be deleting my memory banks of this particular nonsense in very short order and moving on with my life. Anyway, the second thing that caught my eye recently is this post from Andrew Bridgen. Interesting figures which should make people think, and then it goes on with these figures here, which makes very interesting reading, which basically suggests that the Lurgy is a mere rebranding of the Foxtrot Lima uniform, which kind of the likes of me and you knew all along, but for some reason sort of mainstream people found it very, very difficult to kind of accept that the whole Lurgy was just the Foxtrot Lima uniform in disguise. Now, I don't know where Andrew got these figures from. I presume they're from a government source. I would have thought, him being an MP, these will be government figures, Office of National Statistic figures. And yeah, you know, it's just one of those things, isn't it, that just says to me 100% that the whole thing was a nonsense. And to kind of go into that a bit more, as this mainstream media article here, very recent I think it is, where they're talking about, well, they've got all of this stuff, deaths falsely blamed on the Lurgy, the scandal is growing, Dad did not die of the Lurgy, but it's on his death certificate. And this is kind of the stuff that me and other people in the freedom movement have been going on about and banging on about for literally years, like 3 years, and all the way up until now we've been called crazy conspiracy theorists for even talking about this kind of thing. And yet here it is now in the mainstream media. It's kind of a bit like what I said yesterday. The only reason why people sort of believe these conspiracy theories and take them seriously is because they just seem to keep coming true. And here's yet another one. So it really does seem like the dam is breaking in many ways, and long may it continue. So yeah, very interesting stuff, don't you think? Anyway, there's a couple of things there for you, but in the process of editing and sorting out this video that I shot on Sunday of Peace Officer Davey talking, as I've mentioned in previous videos, that should be up pretty soon now. I'm not actually going out tonight like I thought I was, so I can get on with that tonight. But I've made a start and I'm about halfway through it, I think, pretty much. And one thing that Davey says, because the good thing about shooting these talks and then editing them is you get to see the talks about 2 or 3 times or 4 times, and you kind of pick up on things that you didn't really take in on the day. And one thing that Davey said, I think fairly early on in this talk, is that as far as he's concerned, the council just doesn't exist. Now, he's talking about local government here. I'm sure you could carry on this frame of mind and way of thinking to national government as well. But yeah, he was saying that literally the council doesn't exist in his head. You know, he goes about his daily business and they're just not a thing at all. And you might think, well, I know I'm going to get some people watching this who are thinking, well, the guy's just kind of an ostrich burying his head in the sand. How can you ignore the government? You know, he's just sort of deluded. But that's not really the way he came across to me. It is just literally his whole demeanour and his sort of frame of mind. That is literally how he goes about his life. He's just, well, it's just an entity so far away that they're just nothing to do with me. They're just out of my life. And yeah, and that's it. And then he went on to elaborate, well, you know, these sort of councils, they can put pretty flowers and other decorations on roundabouts. He doesn't care. It's a roundabout. All he wants to do is just to go round it and negotiate it. He doesn't care whether it's got decorations on it or not. And if people in the council want to sort of make that the case, to put those things on it, well, it's them who can pay for it out of their own pockets. He never asked for it. He doesn't mind if it's just a plain boring thing or a pretty thing, but he was never consulted. Therefore, he's got nothing to do with it and he's not paying for it. And you could carry on this line of thinking for everything, can't you? Well, I don't agree with that about what the government's doing or the local government's doing. Got nothing to do with me, mate. Sorry. Not having anything to do with it. Not going to be going along with it, and not going to, certainly not going to be paying for it. Thank you very much. And one thing I know a lot of people in the freedom movement have been talking about in the last few days, I think it's after that MEP from the Netherlands, Robert Roos. Yeah, his surname's definitely Roos. I think it's Robert Roos. And he was saying that the European Union have apparently just approved digital IDs, basically a sort of Jill Bates backed scheme for kind of digital ID, so definitely something we don't want. And apparently the EU are going to be bringing this in, and they are also saying that they're going to be mandatory for basically for just participating in society. Well, there's that word mandatory for starters. Now that we've got the knowledge that we've got, mandatory isn't that scary word that means you've got to do it. It means you've got to do it if you agree to it. So it needs your consent to make it mandatory and for it to sort of be enforceable onto you. And now that we know that, well, we just merely don't have to consent to any of this kind of nonsense. I know that doesn't apply to us in the UK, but you can bet if the EU are doing it, this country are going to be trying it on in the not too distant future as well. And sorry, if it's mandatory, well, mandatory doesn't mean anything. If I don't consent to it, and I'm not going to have it, you can just go and do one, basically. So, yeah, I think going back to Davies' sort of mentality. Isn't that a great mindset to have? Yeah, just literally the government, local governments, and all of their rules and regulations, they're just not there. They don't exist. They've got nothing to do with you, and all of their sort of pettiness and their stupidity, I just let them get on with it because it's got nothing to do with me. So yeah, I think it's really a frame of mind that we can all aspire to, that it's a good model to follow. And I think really, especially with all of these scary sounding things, headlines, if you just remember that, just remember they've got no power over you, really. Yeah, that is going to go a long way for your mental state, I think, and it's going to help you sort of negotiate this absolute madness. Just think, no, sorry, nothing to do with me. Yeah, leave me alone. I'm just going to get on with my own life. And government, yeah, sorry, you don't exist. Goodbye. So hopefully I'll get that video on so you can see what I mean when Davey's talking about this kind of thing, and all of the tips, tricks and strategies he's got. Whether I can put the whole thing onto this platform, I don't know. I might have to do, well, it'll definitely go on my Rumble channel and my website, and I might have to just kind of do like a 15-minute intro to it on here and then direct you from there to watch the whole thing over on the Rumble channel. But anyway, should be up in a day or two, and it's a highly interesting and entertaining watch, so look out for that coming soon. So yeah, gonna leave it there. It's a mad world, as we all know, but yeah, just remember, you're your own sovereign man or woman, and you just do not have to really accept government and government entities into your life. Just live your life lawfully, respectful of others, and that's all you really need to do. And yeah, hopefully you'll get some strength by, you know, at least making a start on that kind of path. So let you think about that one, and I'll be back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now, thanks for watching.